Hey, welcome back, everybody, to The Balance Point. We're sitting here early in the morning at Houston Energy and Climate Week, and I'm lucky enough to have Deanna joining me on the microphone. How you doing this morning?
I'm so good. How are you, Mark?
Doing awesome. We have an interesting story. So I ran across your podcast, and the content is phenomenal. And audience, will put a link in the show notes to Deanna's Dialogues. You got to listen to her podcast. And I reached out to you. And you literally replied back to me like within seconds saying, yes, I could use a little bit of help. And so we're going to end up doing a little bit of work with you and just improve the quality of your audio just a little bit. Your content is fantastic. However,
thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really do. You're like, I don't know, so generous and kind. So thank you. I really appreciate that.
Well, I haven't done anything yet. So let's get to it.
Well, you reached out. You know, a lot of people wouldn't, so thank you.
You're welcome. But we didn't show up here just to talk about podcasts, even though we're recording a podcast. We're here at Houston Energy and Climate Week, and you're actually heavily involved in this space. So real quick, you work for a law firm that I can't pronounce.
That's okay. A lot of people can't pronounce it. I do. I work for a law firm. It is Faegre Drinker. And the way you remember that, Mark, is I always tell people to remember we are your favorite lawyers. That's how you remember. Faegre Drinker. And so, yes, I'm new to the law firm. I'm a partner there. I split time between Houston and New York. I'm Texas and New York lawyer, and so, it's perfect for the energy industry.
100%. So sitting here waiting for as people show up to have breakfast, we have opening ceremonies and everything. Climate. What does climate mean to you, Deanna?
So climate means to me many things, but honestly, as a commodities lawyer, it means that I'm able to use just 20 plus years, I know I don't look like it, but 20 plus years of just being in the commodities industry to find solutions to help prevent negative impacts of climate change. It's amazing how commodities are so important to this, I think we have a mission as human beings, and commodities are everywhere in it. So it's just been organic, and that's what it means to me.
Yeah, it's what makes modern life possible, right? And there's a lot of people out there that, in some respects, almost want to move everything backwards as far as addressing climate. But I agree with you. Everybody wants a safe, healthy world to live in. We've done things in the past which was not really good for our planet. At one point, we thought killing whales was a great way to light our homes. I'm glad we got away from that. But now we're in the hydrocarbon time. We're in fossil fuel time. There's a lot of disagreement in the climate world about the importance of fossil fuels. What's your take on that?
Fossil fuels are important. They are. They are in every aspect of our life, down to our clothing, down to the soccer balls. And I don't think any of that is going to change, and I don't know if it necessarily needs to change for us to get to our goals. I have seen so many clients with such creative solutions, and you can even look around this room. I know people on the podcast can't look around this room, but there are booths, guys, all around this room of people with ideas and technology and ways to use fossil fuels or fossil fuel derivatives in an efficient and effective manner that we've never done before. So I don't think the answer is, this, oil and gas evil, let's paint them as this evil industry. Because if you could see this room, you would see that they have the technology, the know-how, and the money to really help us reach our goals as human beings. It's not the answer to make anybody evil.
Yeah, I love that approach, and I agree with you. I see everything as energy. It doesn't matter where it comes from. Every type of energy has its impact to the environment. Every one of those impacts can be mitigated if we choose to do so. And for me, it's all about human flourishing. And when I think of climate, I think of our ability to keep people fed. I think of our ability to make sure that babies are born not by candlelight anymore, right? Think of things of making sure that our worlds can be educated. There's parts of this world where there's a big discrepancy in things like income and wealth, and I see everything kind of just as a way to try to improve the human experience. For this week, for Climate Week. So actually, it's funny you're also in New York. So New York is where I believe this is where Climate Week started in the U.S.
I think it did.
Yeah.
And we're about to hit Climate Week in New York, but next month, and I'll be there too. But yeah, that's what I mean. It's very important that everybody understand that they can be involved. And it doesn't have to be, when this whole thing started, it was either like, you're for the climate or you're for the market, right? And that's another misconception that I think people have. A lot of the solutions are driven by market forces, and you can still want to make money, right? Like, again, you don't see the booths around here, people listening to the podcast, but lot of new businesses here, and businesses want to make money, but they're also helping the environment, right? And they're helping climate. So yeah, we'll see Houston, we kick off this week in September. We'll go to New York in October, and we'll just keep spreading the message. And I can't tell you that every time I go to a new event, whether it's here, London, I mean, I go all over, I'm just so impressed with the innovation. And I'm so impressed with people understanding that they don't have to necessarily give anything up for us to hit this goal together.
Yeah, I love the fact that you understand that the profit needs to be there. So as you develop technologies and processes that can improve our environment, that can minimize our impact to the planet, I think it's great that government steps in and subsidize, right? For a small period of time, I think government subsidies are a great way to get anything off the ground up and running. But at some point, if they're profitable, it then takes off on its own. One of the things I'm really looking forward to, and if you're not in the oil and gas space, I need to explain a little bit. When you drill an oil well, you get all kinds of stuff. You don't just get oil and gas. You get sand. You get water. That water tends to have heavy metals in it,
Oh,
slightly
you're reading my
radioactive,
mind.
right? And it's produced water. And for the longest time, it was a cost to oil and gas. Which, by the way, it's not slightly radioactive and heavy metals because we drilled for oil. That's just how the water naturally is. You could drill a geothermal well and still hit that same produced water that's slightly radioactive and has the heavy metals. However, there's several companies out there that are looking at mining lithium from the produced water. So it's going to go from being a cost.
Lithium, metals. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like the innovation to see things that we used to think were garbage,
Right.
that are not garbage, right? And still, by doing that, we're not producing oil and gas. We're just doing it in an efficient way. I mean, we were throwing that water away. We considered it waste.
Yes.
And you just proved the point. There's metal in it, and everybody needs metal right
Yeah.
now. I mean, everyone's talking about batteries for their cars, and there's some other horrible things going on in the world where we need metal for those horrible things. But let's talk happy things, right? You need the metal, and we used to throw that away.
Yeah.
I mean, there's gas.
Yeah.
There's natural gas we should just throw away.
It's interesting. So this industry has a history of doing stuff like that. Believe it or not, gasoline used to be a waste product.
That's
so
right.
It was kerosene is what everybody made their money, is what Standard Oil made their money, and they would put gasoline in ponds and just let it evaporate. And Henry Ford goes, hey, maybe I could use that in an internal combustion engine for my cars, and all of a sudden a market was born.
Right, but you see, you're kind of like
Yeah.
proving my point, right? Like,
100%.
it's not that anybody or any industry is evil or that people have to give anything up or that we have to go backward. We literally just have to look at what we're doing, and people are. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I get calls from clients or calls from people who have these great ideas because they're just kicking off. And it's things like that, things that everyone just was throwing away. I had a call from someone the other day. Oh, it's going to escape me. If it comes to me, Mark, I'll tell you. But it was just some crazy idea. It was something that people threw away. Oh, anyway, it'll come to me.
As soon as we turn the microphone off, it's
It
going to
will,
pop right
and
to
I'll
your
call
head. Okay, so the next thing, so when you look at a lot of the innovations going on, a lot of the processes going on, and we talked a little bit about how we both think that at some point they need to be profitable. Then you get into big business, right? You get big investments, you get competition, you get rules and regulations, and I think that's where a good law firm can come in and actually help kind of streamline the process a little bit. You mentioned something before we turned the mic on, in how that a lot of times when there's a project going on, if you get the legalese done up front, then it allows you to concentrate your efforts on actually completing the project. Can you talk a little about that? Because that's fascinating.
Yeah, okay. So a lot of people have this idea that lawyers are the like the naysayers, or lawyers are, the very, very last person or the last group that you would bring in. And what I found is that actually is not a good solution or a good way to use your lawyers, right? So you have to find the lawyer that is very business friendly, business forward, right? And then if you can bring that lawyer into the process in the very beginning as you're developing your business, you're developing your thought plan, you're developing your business plan or your structure or your strategy or what have you, that lawyer in the room, as long as they're business friendly and business forward, can help you parse out and navigate legal and regulatory landmines, not like they're landmines, but like solutions and opportunities before you get all the way down the road of structuring a business. And then you realize you've spent, a year and a bunch of money and you can't structure the business that way.
Yeah.
Right?
I love the idea of, I've never even thought about bringing them in early. We have a fractional attorney that works for OGG, and I'm going to have to remind him of this conversation because he gives me grief all the time because he literally tells me, you should have brought me in earlier.
Yeah, you can
you
save money, but not only do you save money, but a lot of times as lawyers, see different aspects of the industry, and we also have, can sort of see the future because we're almost like trained to see like what will be an issue in a contract. And so if you got that lawyer up front as you're developing your contracts, even something as simple as that, or your business structure to try to navigate issues before they happen, not only does it save you money in the planning, but it could probably save you money later on. I mean, you're right. Lawyers had gotten a bad rap as being like the no, 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 no. But, it's not like that anymore. Well, at least I'm not like that, and my colleagues aren't like that. You just got to find the right one.
So let me back up a little bit. Obviously, y'all must be doing work in the renewable space, but I know your firm. I've seen the name for years. Y'all do a lot of work in the oil and gas space.
We do a lot of work in oil and gas. We do a lot of work in energy. I am, always telling people that some law firms have great lawyers, which we have, and some law firms have great websites, which they just promote the fact that they do energy, but they really don't. So we have not the greatest website, which I will say out loud and I will be honest about, but we've got great practical lawyers in oil and gas and industry and in energy. I've never seen anything like it. I've got colleagues that can just pick up the phone and talk and do anything. Hydrogen, oil, gasoline, offtake. I mean, we had some crazy idea from someone, I can't say what it is, but like they needed containers to move this fuel they were trying to move. Crazy idea. I loved it. And we just had colleagues of mine pick up the phone and be like, oh, containers on the water, vessels? Oh, right. Okay, got it. And they just figured it out. It was great.
That domain expertise has to be super valuable to y'all's clients, right? Because you're not spending time educating the attorneys. The attorneys know as much, if not more, than you do.
Yeah, they do. And the beautiful thing about Faegre Drinker, too, is that it is heavy in commodities. So a lot of the solutions that we're seeing in climate change often mix commodities, right? So you have a solution that's coming to you from an energy company, right? But they're using some agriculture or biogenetic feedstock, right? And we have an entire practice in Minnesota and Iowa, right? And most of them are farmers. So you're talking about lawyers who are farmers, who have grown corn and all these things that are now being used as biogenetic feedstock, sugar, right? For fuel and to promote, climate change, right? So you not only do you have the oil and gas lawyers, but you have this heavy knowledge, industry knowledge of how just agricultural commodities, and that's just one example, move around the world and the country. And you put all that together, and it's, the things we're doing together are just amazing.
So it's time to about wind down the show. We're shooting 15-minute segments here. If people wanted to learn more about your company, what is the website? We'll put a link in the show notes, by the way.
Yeah, so it's Faegre Drinker. So it's Faegre Drinker, Drinker. And again, I would just go to my link or my bio, and I can give you my name is Deanna Reitman. It's spelled very interestingly. So if you can't remember, just think of Deanna, which is what everybody calls me. So it's Deanna, and it's Reitman, Reitman. And if you just type that in at Faegre Drinker, you'll find me, and I'll put you in touch with the right people. No matter what the project is, no matter how crazy you think the idea is, we can figure it out. We have some ideas coming to us in tech. We didn't even get a chance to talk to tech, and our 15 minutes is over.
So we also put a link to your LinkedIn profile. If people want to reach out to you directly, be easier, people. So just go to the show notes, either scroll left or right, depending if you're iOS or Android. Click on the link for Deanna's LinkedIn profile, also for the link for her company. Before I let you go, you're here for the Houston Climate Energy Week. What do you hope to accomplish while you're here?
I hope to learn.
Yeah, me too.
What more can you want to accomplish in a day? There are some pretty heavy hitters here, and I'm pretty excited to just learn from them. I'm going to sit back, listen, and learn today.
Good. I am too, besides all the conversation. Deanna, thank you so much for coming on the show. You and I will be doing a little bit of work on your podcast.
That's right.
We'll put a link in the show notes, make sure that's in there as well. But just appreciate your time. Thanks for getting up this early in the morning and joining us here. It's great having you on the show.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much.
All right, folks, we will see you next time.